Today, of course, we find ourselves in the midst of Holy Week. And so it's very fitting that we find near the very beginning of Holy Week this really famous gospel from the Gospel of John, chapter 12, which tells us the story of this woman, this sinful woman, who has this jar of perfumed oil, this really expensive perfumed oil, which she goes on to pour on the head of Jesus Christ. And you recall how one of the disciples, Judas Iscariot, the one who will ultimately betray the Lord, of course, is basically scandalized by this. So what he basically says is that this jar of oil could have been sold and the money given to the poor. But then you recall what the Lord actually says to him in response. You will always have the poor, but you will not always have me. Of course, foreshadowing his suffering and death on the cross. But you see, for our purposes today, I want to focus on this idea of being wasteful in a relationship with the Lord. And so, for example, I think it was Bishop Robert Barron who said that the moment I ascribe a certain efficiency or functionality or use to my friend, that person ceases to be my friend, because friends are meant to be useless. They're meant to be enjoyed for their own sake. And so in a certain sense, Jesus Christ is saying the same thing. And so again, here is Judas Iscariot, and he's thinking strictly from a position of efficiency and functionality. Whereas in contrast, here is this woman who is thinking wastefully. I have this expensive jar of oil, I have this expensive jar of ointment, and I'm going to waste it on the Lord. And you see, the whole point of the gospel in a certain sense is to point out to us that the Lord is very pleased by that. Not just that singular action, but actions like that. A certain wastefulness in a relationship with Christ. Because what does Christ want? He doesn't want us to relate to him like an employer or a boss or some harsh taskmaster. He wants a relationship with intimacy. He wants a relationship with closeness. He wants to be our friend. And again, the moment I ascribe an efficiency or a functionality or use to my friend ceases to be my friend. Friends are meant to be useless. And so let's try to incorporate a certain wastefulness in our friendship with the Lord.